entities of the past will re-emerge as weapons of light. These aren't just lists. They are encoded memories of the temple's final desperate days. The first clue lies in Mishnah 7, which speaks of a place called Borsif. It states, all these were concealed, hidden, and safeguarded from the army of the Chaldeans in a place called Borsif. Borsif, also known as Borsippa, was an ancient city southwest of Babylon. The very first cache of temple gold, sacred scrolls, and other treasures was hidden right there. It was the first secret vault established in exile. But Borsif was only the beginning. The next clue takes us to a more familiar name. Mishnah 4 describes another hiding place. These men concealed 36 golden trumpets and many other treasures in a tower in the great city called Baghdad. Baghdad is, of course, the ancient name for Baghdad, the city that would eventually succeed Babylon as the region's powerhouse. This was the second hiding place. The mention of 36 golden trumpets is electrifying. Why? Because it creates a direct link back to the war scroll from Qumran. The war scroll describes in detail the priestly trumpets used in the final battle, the trumpets of assembly, memorial, alarm, pursuit, and reassembly. The number and function align perfectly. In the hands of the sons of light on the battlefield, the connection is unmistakable. The links don't stop there. Mishnah 9 details another category of hidden items, the sacred garments of the priests. It says 12,000 garments of the Levites, with belts, the ephod and meal of the high priest. All were concealed until the future to atone for Israel in the end of days. These weren't just everyday clothes. They were holy vestments imbued with spiritual significance for atonement. Now let's look back at the war scroll. It describes the priests on the battlefield wearing specific garments for battle: white linen, adorned with violet, purple, and crimson thread. These are the exact colors and materials of the priestly vestments. The garments of atonement, hidden away for centuries, were destined to be transformed into the armor of the Holy Army. The vestments of the temple become the uniforms of divine war. Finally, Mishnah 11 provides the most stunning inventory of all. It speaks of treasures of gold and silver from the days of David until the exile, hundreds of thousands of golden shields and countless silver shields, 1,353,000 precious stones and fine stones. This description completes the circle, bringing us right back to the army of the war scroll, those magnificent shields of polished bronze, bordered with gold, silver, and gemstones. The Emek claims that hundreds of thousands of them were hidden. This wasn't just a handful of ceremonial items. It was the Lord's armory, a vast treasure trove of sacred weapons, stored beneath the cities of Babylon, awaiting their unveiling in the latter days. Together, Borsif and Baghdad represent a dual mystery. They are the outer and inner vaults of the exile, repositories of Israel's most sacred history. They preserved the covenant, the symbols of God's power, and the very tools of worship, keeping them safe through centuries of darkness. This incredible story suggests that the War Scroll is not merely a symbolic text or a flight of apocalyptic fantasy. It may be a literal battle plan, relying on the recovery of these very real, very powerful, and very sacred treasures. The army of the Sons of Light was not expected to forge their weapons from scratch. They were to reclaim them, the entire plan for the final holy war depended on uncovering what the priests had so carefully hidden away. From the scribe city of Borsif to the great tower of Baghdad, these traditions paint a picture of a desperate but forward-thinking plan to ensure that the instruments of God's glory would one day be revealed again. What was lost with the first temple was not gone forever, but merely concealed, waiting for the appointed time when the weapons of his armory would once again shine in the light. The link to the lost temple treasures gets even stronger. And where were some of these treasures hidden? In the plains of Babylon, in history, in the early 21st century, the armies of the West, led by America and Britain, entered the very soil of ancient Babylon, modern-day Iraq. They dug trenches, unearthed ancient relics, and built military bases right near the ruins of Nebuchadnezzar's palace. Places like Camp Victory and the Green Zone were established right beside the Tigris River. These are the same rivers of Babylon where the ancient exiles wept and hung their harps on the willows, as described in Psalm 137, Jeremiah's specific language of weapons. Now consider this verse from Jeremiah 50. Listen. The fugitives and refugees from Babylon declare in Zion how the Lord our God has taken vengeance for his temple. This isn't just about ancient history. It's a prophecy about a future declaration when modern armies entered Iraq and literally unearthed parts of Babylon, stirring dust that hadn't moved for centuries. Was this a fulfillment? Could the armory of God have been disturbed or even rediscovered in our lifetime? The treasures themselves are profoundly symbolic. The golden shields aren't just for defense. They represent the shields of the earth that belong to God, as Psalm 47 says. The physical shields point to a cosmic, spiritual reality. The priestly garments, hidden away for atonement, reappear in the war scroll as battle vestments. The army of light is clothed in righteousness, fulfilling Isaiah's vision of a messianic king whose belt is faithfulness. When we read all these ancient records together, the prophecies, the scrolls, the inventories, a single breathtaking narrative emerges. The temple treasures were hidden